What's up? This is Chips, and I just wanted to go over some Nerf pistols, sidearms. Basically, whenever we're playing games and it's just CQB or just in the house, or just having something that's reliable, that's a secondary. I just want to go over my thoughts and opinions on what I've collected over this is actually like our 1 year anniversary of being into the Nerf hobby. So what we started off with is we had this Fortnite blaster, and it shot mega darts, and this was something that it looked like this, and it had a pretty heavy prime, but my kid couldn't prime it at the time, so now that he's at his age, he's able to prime it. So yeah, this was real fun. It shot whistler darts, and the darts were big, so this was what kind of got us interested because of the dart size, and just seeing how big and how fast the projectiles flew. It was kind of like, oh man, what else is out there? So it got us really starting the journey, looking at other Nerf blasters and seeing what else they had on the market. But I did do some online research to see if there's like a mod for this, and they came up with this 3D printed part which basically stores some darts. You could put a 1736 brass barrel in here, and that way you can shoot elite or half-length type darts. And yeah, man, this shot really good. This shot about like up to 120 FPS. So we're probably gonna do a pistol fire footage you'll see here. But yeah, this was a really reliable blaster until we wanted to kind of step things up. So my son ended up wanting to buy more Nerf blasters with my wife, and they ended up getting this Xshot package, which was really cool. This was called like the kickback, and this is like the Xshot. I did put heavier springs in these, but what's great about these ones, man, they're good for like whenever we have like other kids come over. I let them play with these just because the ease of use of having this plunger pull handle here, it's good. And what I did is I kind of worked on the seal, took air restrictors out just so they have a little bit more like just performance. So same with this, air restrictors out, and you can see they have decent performance. Like what's nice about the Xshot series is they shoot up to like 90 FPS, which is a lot better than what Nerf offers, because everything they do is up to like 60 FPS, all the way up to just maybe high 70s, and you just kind of lack performance in there with accuracy and range. So you know, those are the things that I was looking for, and my son ended up getting. So I did end up going to Out of Darts in Washington around December or November around Thanksgiving, and Luke brought this little pocket rocket out, and basically this was the first time I saw a performance jump. So it's barreled, and what's awesome about it is that fits in your pocket, folds up, and is made by Dart Zone, and it shoots about 120 130 FPS, probably if you're using bamboos. But there are 3D printed attachments for this, for dart storage. So what we were essentially getting out of here is more foldable now. So it's kind of like, what would I rather carry as a sidearm if I was in a competition? Probably I would go with this, just for the fact that, you know, it's less trinkets hanging off me when I could just kind of fold this up, pull it out, and having it available. And it's got a pretty good seal. That's what I really like about this blaster. So we went from there, and then I saw an article about this blaster versus this all metal CNC Chinese manufactured one. And when I saw it, I was just like, ooh, why didn't I get that instead of this? But I saw that the performance numbers were a lot lower, so you would have to do a spring upgrade. Why would I want to do that when this one, you know, already has a really good seal and a spring? So I saw somebody's comment saying, you know what's better than this blaster? That's actually a breech loading. Tyrell? What's better than a breech loading is this Nerf Pilot. So this Nerf Pilot, what's awesome about it is that this blaster was made to fire rival rounds. And these rival rounds are just like these yellow to blue balls. And they got a big diameter on here. So what's cool about this is there was a 3D printed file where you can use a 17/32 barrel or a 13 millimeter, 16 millimeter outside diameter barrel to fit in here. So there are inserts, and you can actually make other inserts for this too. But this one slaps a lot harder than the Dart Zone Solo Max. Oh man, this doesn't want to come out right now. So anyways, the Dart Zone Solo Max has about 130 FPS, 120. This one gets up to 160 barreled, shooting short darts. And with that kind of performance, I was willing to, you know, have this as a more reliable sidearm, more like a pistol sniper. So this one is something that I had to get. And what was awesome is that you can find these on sale sometimes. I got this for probably about $6 at Walmart, brand new. So pretty cool blaster from there. So I started looking at like these Dart Zone Mag Fed and all these other ones. Just looking at other sidearms. And I'm trying to think about what my son can prime its performance. So I did end up getting this Outlaw Max, and then I noticed how much of a mistake it was because it was very hard to prime. My son couldn't use this at all, so it ended up being, I guess, like a sidearm for me. But I ended up getting a downgrade spring, so it's a lot easier, and Tywin can prime it with 2 hands. But I did a radioactive barrel swap, which kind of helps with this seal. So if you look at this blaster, whenever you pull the trigger, the barrel reclines back into the cylinder to create a breech, a sealed breech. And what's cool about it is that it just has more capabilities being barreled versus when you go this route here. This is a 6-shot too. This is just off the cylinder. You got the plunger tube that hides in here and then straight to the cylinder. So whenever you pull this ratcheting mechanism, it switches the cylinder around. So it's after it changes the darts. So in here it does the same thing. But what's cool about this is I did a front barrel or a front attachment so you can screw in a B-car. So I have that, and I got that off Thingiverse. Feel free to ask any questions about some of the prints or how to do it. I can go ahead and give my advice on that. But this radioactive design's kind of hit or miss. They give you this O-ring for the plunger that's supposed to be thinner, but I feel that if you see, I used to have a really good seal, but now I'm just getting a bunch of leak, and there's nothing really popping out anymore. But when I had the thicker O-ring, it was, I could release this and a whole spit of air comes out. So yeah, I did 3D print some parts. A lot of people were like talking about how do you remove this thing? Well, you just kind of press it out. You can use 2 hands, comes out. So anyways, Outlaw Max, lighter spring, and you can add spring spacers too to add that to you more FPS. And by the way, when I was at stock shooting this was like 120 FPS, which is, you know, keeps up with all this other stuff. And then you got a cylinder, so you don't have to keep reloading the breech. And on top of that, yeah, it does well. So with this downgrade spring, it's hitting around like 80 to 90 FPS, which is kind of like playing with one of these now. But if you add some spring spacers, which I haven't done because I want my son to be able to play with this. So if you add spring spacers, it increases the performance up there, but with a little bit of a lighter prime. Okay, so after that, I was like, man, we need more rounds. 6 rounds isn't enough. So I was looking at more magazine-based blasters. So I got this Lehui, and I saw the Dart Zone made something similar to this. They had a Mark II and a 2.1. So this one was just cheaper overall, but it's a clone. So I went with this. I think I got it off Amazon for like less than 20 bucks, or I believe. So I was like, I saw a video of Bradley Phillips saying that this can go up to like 180 FPS or close to 200, and it has a real good seal breach. You can, I mean, like, it's got a good seal. When you hold it and you let go, it holds. I did put a spring spacer in here and max it out, but I'm only letting the spring capability, it's not too strong, but without the spacer is hitting about like 80 to 90. And then on top of that, with the spring spacer, I'm getting about 120. So I'm trying to keep them all in the same range, close. When it was at 80 FPS, it was way easy for my son to prime. One problem about this blaster that I really hate is this magazine. So in the Dart Zone, they have like 2 feeding lip sides. So every time this pulls out, the pusher pulls out, you get darts that kind of want to jump out. So that's what I really hate about this. It's just a problem that you know, I guess they didn't think about. But what I like about this better than the Mark II is that it's magazine fed. It's not like a some kind of hopper system or reloading mechanism. That it's not a magazine, so it stays in the blaster. You change it out. That's why I like this. The 2.1's awesome, similar to this. I just didn't want to pay up to $100 for a blaster, sidearm blaster. So then the quest moves on, and I've been wanting to do this spamf build. So if you look online, this blaster costs, you can get it on thrift, $5 for a Falcon Fire. I mean, that's what I paid for my Falcon Fires. And what's cool is that even if you wanted to do this build with the stock spring, you're hitting definitely over 90. It's barreled, it's magazine and top prime, or you can do this super spamf build, which is what I did here. So let's talk about this blaster. You got top priming, and you can see your breech, your sealed pusher breech here. Now, what's cool about this is that I did the Vanguard kit, so it's a skinny pusher. Magazine feeds. You don't have to prime it to get the magazine in. It's got a really good seal, and what else we can say? So this is called the Super Spamf kit, and if you wanted to prime like this, you can. However, when you do use it like this, you don't want to keep your hand up in here. You're going to jam it, your thumb. So what I do is I pull it back like that, push it forward, and got it going. With gavinfuzzy spring, this is a creator, gavinfuzzy. It goes up to 130 FPS. And I did the whole plunger, metal plunger, CNC stuff. So yeah, man, this thing is awesome. And everybody who plays with this blaster, this is by far, I think, the best one, most reliable sidearm pistol that I have. I mean, It's easy to prime. It's good to go. So good I had to do a second build. So this is the other one, side-by-side comparison. I did Thingiverse print off for the handle, but I don't think I can open this blaster anymore because I had to slam this on. It's a real tight fit, so there's no screws on this. But if I wanted, oh shoot, I pulled it out. Okay, there you go, there's my answer. So anyways, that's the pistol grip. And you can see this is the stock one, the orange. You can see the difference. But I really like this pistol grip design. I like the way it feels in the hand, and it's accurate. It has a really good seal. Okay, so let's talk about this really funny blaster. Silly Butts made this design. This is called the Deuce Pro. There was just so many issues with this, man, and I stayed I didn't want to buy this blaster at all. I saw the issues before I bought them, but I saw it was at Walmart or Target. I saw it on sale, and I think I got it for like $5, and this thing was costing like 30. So I was like, all right, it's a sale, I'm gonna grab it. And the only fix that I saw was that you just had to reprint the cylinder. And let me go ahead and explain. So when you do this, you can reload it on any side of this cylinder versus having to, they make like this wedge here so you can slide a dart inside for the old ones, which kind of looks like the cylinder on this. But what they do is that whenever you want to take the cylinder out, you do have to prime pull. And the pusher, if you can see in there, goes through this whole slot and it creates a seal, giving you that kind of a seal right there, I guess. So anyways, yeah. And I did weaken this for my son, and he was pulling it good. So it was just too low FPS when we put the downgrade spring in here. So I think with the downgrade spring, we're only shooting about like 80. And for 6 rounds, I was just like, oh man, this needs a mod. So I did the Silly Butts prime pump. And just to have something small, I just ripped this off of a blaster called the Seagull. And I liked it because it's just a tiny little pumper, you know. And so, yeah, this is another sidearm that I ended up doing. It's got a pretty good seal in here. It's not the best because you're supposed to be able to remove this front barrel. I don't know if I'm really going to be using this much, but the fix that caused it, what I feel is the best. I even contacted Dart Zone, and they gave you all these various springs and no instructions, and it doesn't really help. But there is a star mechanism on here that every time the cylinder changes, it catches better on here, because in the original design, whenever you primed it, it was skipping cylinders, and it was making people angry because you'd have one last start left and you're just skipping around priming, and you end up probably getting yourself tagged out. So yeah, that's that. And this blaster is just just a work in progress. I still got to finish doing the whole top kit and probably a butt stock. So yeah, and then I moved on, and I was trying to probably do this gecko blaster. And the reason why I wanted to do the gecko blaster was that the magazines were compatible with my angled Talon mags that hold 18 rounds. So in order to do that, you do have to drill out some, Dremel out, file down some sides, so that way the angled Talon mags that hold 18 rounds can fit in here. What you see here is the injection molded gecko. I guess it's a 1.0, and this is a model off of I guess cyberpunk. So I did, to break up the colors, just so when I go out this in public, I added some red just to make it stand out more. And I did some fixes on it. I took the these prints were from this guy named Adrian, and he's the actual creator of this. And I guess people cloned it, and the Chinese market just had their way with it, and you know, it's got a bunch of names. So the gecko, the Lizzie gecko, I reprinted the turnaround because that turnaround had like the turnaround that comes with this has like the slice down the middle, and it had air leak, so it's better. It's shooting about like 130 FPS. I had to put a lot of Teflon tape all over this thing just because it was very leaky, and that's that. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and skip off to some flywheel sidearms. These are by far some of the best in the market, but this was the Nightingale, and it has these really skinny Talon mags. And I did a whole kit. This was off of AK Blaster Mods, and this front orange barrel comes from a long shot. They give you all black, and it's just too much, so I had to break it up and add this orange. But you can put a Nightingale mag here, you can put a Nightingale mag here, so you'd be running with this thing with 3 mags, so you'd have a lot of rounds. And this is what it sounds like. I did do some mods. I added some like these mini Banshee wheels from Band Blasters, so it's got a tighter flywheel cage. And yeah, so this is this one. The only thing about this is that there's no select fire. It's full auto, and you can't really control your burst rate with your trigger. So that's where we come into this. This is brushless blaster, has select fire. It shoots about 130 FPS, and you got a single, double burst, I believe even a triple burst, and a full auto. This is now our sidearm. Out of all these, we came to the conclusion that this is the blaster of choice. It's got I printed a door here just to make it easier putting batteries in and out of this thing. Used to have to do this screw all the time. I'm not doing that, so this is it now. Gives you a little bit of space in there for a little bit bigger battery. I did do a flared mag well down here, and the magazines that I all have are extended up to 15. So yeah, I just want to say that this blaster is by far the best sidearm in the business. It's pricey, you get what you pay for, but this right here is what you need if you're in a competition or just even for fun. The kids can use this. Just put in a 3S and it shoots a little bit lighter. This is shooting around 130 FPS with a 4S. 3S, I believe it's like 115, 120, so a little bit more child friendly. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, if we talked about the comparisons of these, this shoots a lot quieter. It's just way more precise. This one is kind of all over the place. And I wanted to like this blaster, but it's just okay. It's okay. It's not this, you know. If you're gonna do a flywheel blaster, something quick and easy, loading, everything, you want to go with the Dianas. This is the HC Diana. There's a place online where you can get this cheap, and ask me in the description and I can tell you that I got these for $150, and other places are selling for $250 to $300 for this blaster. $150, I had to get 2, so I got a pink one and a green one. I have 2 of these ones, and I think when I got these cost like $80. So yeah, full auto, $80 Nightingale. It's loud. It's 3S, super loud blaster. So if you were to hear this, it's a whisper. It's just like a sp, sp, sp. So yeah, I went with this. Holsters. I printed one for the Outlaw. There are holsters for most of these, but you know, you'd probably want to use a cloth or something. Some kind of, I have a vest with a large pocket in here, so these go in really well. Again, you know, if you're gonna do sidearm blaster hunting, just mind the price and mind that what you get for ammunition loading, because these only take 6. This is just single one shot. You have to just load every other round. Single one shot. Single one shot. Single one shot. But all the others are priming. If I can give you another example, this is probably the best ever. I'm dry firing, but it should be fine. This is not anything crazy. 130 FPS, and these got the metal plungers in them. So yeah, that's my take. Hope you enjoyed looking at all these blasters. What are you doing? Prime this. $160.